Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's bird video. Going to have a look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's bird video, so day 10. Going to take us to the 4th of December, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that instead of GFS and ECM ensembles over a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS E2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which gets into the second half of December. I'll get on that for you in a second. Just say that first video releasing was our 7 AM upload. We've also released USA forecast, so please check out those 2 vids if you'd like to do that. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, okay, let's start off webcam. I'm going to start off central temperature. CT is continuing to fall, so we've gone under 9 degrees now. We're standing at 8.9, which is 1.9 degrees above average. That's provisional, just day 2B 23rd of November. That's going to carry on falling over the next few days and might actually do a little bit of a plummet at the weekend, as it will be turning quite cold. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at London today. Red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're about average at the moment, but things are getting colder over the next few days. So, you know, end of week into weekend, looking quite cold. We have got a little bit of tick up in the upper air temperature going on there for the early part of next week, just a day or so, and then going colder again through the middle part of next week. Another drop in the upper air and surface temperatures. And then after that, just hovering quite close to the long-term 30-year average. There is quite a bit of scatter there, and that's getting us towards the end of the first week of December. However, when you average it all out, it does look as though the next week, 10 days, are going to be quite cold, really, generally below average for the next week to 10 days or so. Precipitation-wise, going to be quite a dry weather for the next day or two, but after that, it will get more unsettled. And of course, as it's going to be quite cold, we do have to consider that these precipitation spikes might not only be rain, they could bring something a little bit wintry as well, and that's particularly for more northern and northeastern areas, actually, where we're going to be exposed to strong to gale force northeasterly winds. After that, we just look quite unsettled, really, through the first week of December. Temperature anomalies from the 24th of November to 2nd of December are going to be colder than average. We're not alone. Most parts of Western Europe are looking pretty cold there as well, to be honest. Big flip on what we've had through this autumn so far. So that is the November flip that we highlighted in our autumn forecast that we released back at the end of August. And precipitation anomalies from the 24th of November, 2nd of December. Still a little bit dry now to yourself. Western average in the north, that could be wintry stuff, of course, for more northern and northeastern areas. These anomaly maps are, I think, gradually getting a little bit more unsettled day by day through this week, actually. Latest wind map from earthnautical.net shows that we're about to pull in northerly winds again. So we've got a northerly just beginning to move in towards Norman. Western part of Scotland map will be moving down across the country through the rest of today and overnight and into tomorrow. And then those northerlies just carry on through to the end of the week and the weekend. This other UK Met Euro is looking at midnight on Saturday. Deep area of low pressure in the North Sea at 985 millibars. And bringing in this strong to gale force northeasterly wind. And that's pushing down the western side of the country, bringing rain, sleet and snow to some areas. That low pressure then moves towards the Low Countries as we get through to Sunday. And winds remaining from a cold north or northeast direction. It will be a cold weekend that we have coming up this weekend. Next week we'll start to back wind into west a little bit as this weather system pushes in off the Atlantic. That's going to bring some slightly less cold air in through the opening part of next week. But by the middle of next week, got another low in the North Sea, diving through the North Sea, and wind going back into the north again. So that's that next little cold snap around the middle part of next week. Looks relatively cold, doesn't it, over the next week or so. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. So this one has low pressure off the coast of East Anglia at midnight on Saturday. And again, we're putting in this strong and cold north to northeasterly wind. So that could bring like severe gales to some eastern coastal areas. In particular, there will be rain, sleet and snow mixed in with that as well. Low pressure sits over the Low Countries on Sunday. Again, still pulling in those northeasterly winds, still looking cold. Rain, sleet and snow. It could be a wintry weekend where skies are clear further north and west with lighter winds. There will be some pretty sharp overnight frost. Into the open next week, we lose that northeast. We begin to back the wind a little bit more into the west as this trough moves in from off the Atlantic. So that will bring some slightly less cold air in through the early part of next week. But then again, same idea as UK Met, have this next low pushing into Norway, and that sort of starts pulling wind back into the northwest to the north again. So by the middle of next week, it's midnight Thursday, we're back into those cold northerly winds again. Doesn't last all that long. By day 10, we're back into westerlies again. So very much alternating air masses, seesawing between winter and autumn conditions. In the more extended range with the GFS midnight run, we keep the wind in from west generally, so rather mild with the GFS midnight run up to the 10th of December, which is as far as we go, bringing in these southwest winds. Will be quite unsettled though, with low pressure bringing spells of rain at times. That's how the GFS 6Z looks. So again, midnight on Saturday, we're pulling in those cold north to northeasterly winds. They could be quite wintry as well. That carries on into Sunday too. Early next week, it begins to get a little bit milder as we back the wind into west. We lose a northerly, change wind direction to a westerly. But not for long. By middle of next week, we're back into those cold northwesterlies to northerlies once again. Actually, a little bit more of a northerly influence sort of Wednesday to Thursday next week. That looks quite wintry potentially for some northern and eastern areas on the GFS 6. A little bit more so, I think, than the midnight run was showing. By the end of next week, that low pressure sort of moves away into the Baltic Sea. We start to raise the heights over the country, so it turns mainly dry, but will be cold and frosty. Then around day 10, the 6Z is having a go at building up a Scandinavian high. So actually, this keeps us quite cold up to day 10 with the 6Z. It's 4th of December, a long way out now, of course. And even then, we're still quite cold. Moderate is just lurking to west of Ireland, waiting to move in. But it is having a go at raising the heights over Scandinavia, trying to get a Scandinavian high together. That doesn't come to anything. We push in this milder west-south westerly just beyond day 10, and then we go into a spell of Atlantic driven sort of weather, but again seesawing between westerlies which are mild and northwesterlies which are a little bit cold. There's a big northerly blast going on there, this trough low over Scandinavia. We're just on the periphery of that, but when you see the Azores high sort of raising itself at its central pressure to around 1040 1045 millibars, very high pressure. It can sometimes be a precursor that the high pressure is getting ready to go north. So we're not all that far away from bringing yet another northerly shot there, actually, as we go to the end of the first week of December. That is the 8th of December. There is a big northerly blast going on across the continent, of course, that trough low pressure. As I say, we're just on the periphery of that, but it will only take a very subtle slight change to move that high pressure a little bit further northwards and westwards to start pulling down those cold northerly winds. We are closer to cold weather than the extended range of the GFS 6 than we were with the midnight run. As it is, we remain on the periphery of that high pressure, just sticks to our west and southwest. We keep the wind from an Atlantic source, albeit it's not especially mild Atlantic source. Basically, I think this high pressure wants to go north, but there's no blocking to pull it up, if you see what I mean. So to really get a block in place, you've got to raise the heights up here, and there's not much high pressure. There's no high pressure over Greenland at the moment. So this high pressure is strengthening in the Atlantic, wants to be at mid-Atlantic ridge, but with the jet stream coming through like that, there's just nothing to pull the high pressure up. However, quite interesting that the Azores high looks rather in a position where it wants to push north anyway. Right, let's have a look at the precipitation forecast based on those two GFS runs. So this is the midnight run first of all. This is from Weather Outlook. So, of course, initially we're talking about rain, but by tomorrow we've got wintry showers into Scotland anyway. And then on Friday, a band of wet and windy weather sweeps across the country. That's followed by much colder air, bringing rain, sleet and snow through the course of Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Some significant snow there being forecast like northern England. That's particularly over Pennines, but there could be some flakes falling to lower levels as well. It's a proper wintry blast that we've got here at the end of the week, and this risk of rain, sleet and snow carries on into the weekend as well. Devil's in the detail of that. We'll probably do snow watch, I would have thought, tomorrow. I think this does justify our first snow watch of the season. By the early part of next week, turning back towards drier weather, really, and also rain as it begins to get a little bit milder. However, we do have that second push of colder air from the north. That brings wintry showers back into more northern and eastern areas, and then we turn milder by the end of next week. That is the midnight run. Let's have a look at the 6Z. There it is. So we'll do that one, and then we'll move on to the GM. So this is how the 6Z precipitation type forecast looks. Again, same idea really for tomorrow. We've got wintry showers pushing into north, otherwise lots of dry weather. It's really on Friday, that cold red descending south. We're supposed to have a band of rain, introduce that cold red, and then we get another front that brings, again, a wintry mix of rain, sleet and snow. There's snow there, like for the Midlands, for example, being forecast, maybe in parts of East Anglia, southeastern England on Friday night. So a proper cold blast brings risk of, it's a little bit, it won't amount to much, I wouldn't have thought, but risk of the first snowflakes of season anyway, even down to more southern areas. And given we're not even into meteorological winter yet, and we're well away from astronomical winter, by the way, we're not doing too badly here, you know, to get first snowfalls in November. Early next week, the snow risk diminishes, and we turn drier, but then, of course, we pull those cold northern winds back in again through the middle part of next week, and may bring a renewed risk of wintry showers, this time to more northern and eastern areas. Probably. There's a little bit of a snow event going on there, transitional to a snow event around day 10 as the Atlantic tries to move in. Margaret tries to move in from the Atlantic, but sort of struggles to do so. That's as we're trying to get a Scandinavian high together. That's a very long way off, though, of course. Right, moving on to GM. We look like this. So if you enjoyed the video, by the way, please smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. We only need to put on around 65 subscribers now to get ourselves to 12.7k, so it's moving quite quickly. Please give us a sub. Thank you so much for doing that. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well, and drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. GM looks like that. Low pressure again to our east on midnight on Saturday, pulling in these cold north or northeast winds. Going to be cold and relatively wintry weekend. Early next week, it turns a little bit less cold, a little bit milder for a while, but then cold again around the middle part of next week, although not as much of a northerly with the GM as the GFS is showing for the middle of next week. Then back into milder weather as we move up towards day 10, as the winds return to west and low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic. And then the ECM looking like that, so all much is low pressure off the East Anglian coast, pulling in these cold north or northeast winds. There can be strong winds as well, with a risk of severe gales perhaps down the east coast. Into Sunday again, looking cold, winds in from the north and from the northeast Atlantic. Then starts to move back in on Monday, but it's a little bit of a struggle with the ECM, but eventually it pushes some milder air through during a part of next week. But then we're back into those cold and northerlies again from Wednesday into Thursday. Another little cold snap showing up then. And then we start going a little bit milder as we move towards day 10. This area of low pressure bringing wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic. Not overly mild, though, it has to be said, and quite cold across much of northern Europe with this trough of low pressure. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run. And again, for a moment, quite a bit of dry weather in the south, but there will be rain, sleet and snow pushing southwards at the end of the week, and then introducing these cold northeast winds, and they're bringing snow, particularly for northern and western areas on this ECM run. The detail on that is to be firmed up upon for Friday into Saturday. But even in the south and southeast, there could be a little bit of wintry weather as we go into Saturday in particular. Then early next week, it goes a little bit milder with more of rain coming in off the Atlantic. And then moving up towards day 10, just looks generally quite unsettled. Risk of some snow in the north, generally rain down in the south. That's how we're going to get to day 10. Wet and windy weather coming in off the Atlantic at that point. Right, so I'm going to go there. So these are your options on the table with the ECM ensembles today for day 10. And this, of course, is going to get us to the 4th of September. We're using the ECM.wf.int's own website today. The options haven't updated. The clusters haven't updated at the Icelandic Met Office today. Right, so let's have a look at these then. We have 20 members of the ECM ensembles at day 10 with a ridge of high pressure out to our west, trough of low pressure to the east. That's bringing the coldest there, especially of northern, central Europe. We're just on the periphery, about a little bit less cold, perhaps with more of an influence from the Atlantic, but hardly mild. They have this option just here with 18 members of the ECM ensembles looking rather flat and westerly, so that's introducing more of an Atlantic type flow, but it's quite unsettled. Obviously, that is rather milder. And then we have 13 members of the ECM ensembles with a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia, northern Europe. And again, we're just on the periphery, pulling in some quite cold air with that. But still, again, quite modified with winds off the Atlantic. So it does suggest that around day 10, around the 4th of December, we probably start to turn. We'll probably turn a little bit less cold around day 10, a little bit milder. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 9th of December. We have 13 members of ECM ensembles with trough low pressure digging through northern western Europe. That's going to be quite cold. Winds will be in from the north. It is in combination with a mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland as well. So that's quite a cold scenario. Then we have 13 just here that have low pressure to our northeast, high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic, lining up jet stream northwest to southeast. That's a little bit milder, more Atlantic influence, but you know, it's hardly mild. It's quite cool, really, and unsettled. We've got this option here, which is 12, I think, showing high pressure ridging up from the southwest to Scandinavia, low pressure out to west. That's probably quite mild, bringing wind from southwest, but of course it's trying to get a Scandi going. That particular option. This one just here, we've got 9 just here that have high pressure sort of over and to our northeast. So that looks like it's almost successfully completed a Scandinavian high and would be potentially bringing in quite cold air from the east. And then the final option is just here 4. With again mid-Atlantic ridge and trough low pressure to our east-northeast winds in from the northwest. That's potentially very close to pulling in a cold northerly. So there's a lot of options on the table, to be honest, in 2 weeks' time. So where we go as we get in towards the second week of December remains to be seen, I think. Lastly, CFS is a 500 millibar heights breaking down to week periods. The first week period takes from 24th to 30th of November. The coming week has high pressure out to our west, with low pressure to our east. Winds are in from the north, so it will be cold in week ahead, week 2. Looks like that is the 1st of the 7th of December. High pressure just to our west, low pressure to the east. We're starting to revert to a slightly less cold sort of Atlantic northwesterly type flow. Week 3 is going to be the 8th to 14th of December. High pressure to our west, low pressure to our north-northeast, winds in from like a northwesterly direction. Getting a little bit less cold, but hardly mild. And week 4 really carries that on. It's going to be the 15th to the 21st of December. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to our west and northwest. So that means we bring in light wind from the west to northwesterly direction. So you know, not overly mild, but not cold either, and perhaps a little bit unsettled, especially so for more northern areas. And there we go, we're done. Right, so if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. You'll be able to see future weather content. If you do, thank you so much for doing Mr. GavsWeatherVids. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Right, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much, everybody. So it's still moved quite quickly, and we are counting down to 12.7k. Right, that's it for today's video. Just so what's coming tomorrow. We're going to start on 7 AM upload. Going to have European Outlook, have a 10 to 14 day. Christmas updates penciled in for tomorrow as well, and potentially we might do Snow Watch too. So epic day coming up tomorrow. Keep checking back for all of the updates, but for this 10 to 14 day, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.